And we thank God that we have the opportunity of meeting today again. And before we proceed, we are 21, including myself, on this call. Can anybody just give us a gist of what we discussed last Sunday? Last Sunday, and I will want this class to be interactive to some extent. So, meaning that I will expect everyone to say one or two words in every class that we'll have. So, if you speak now, I will note your name, and if you refuse to say anything, I will call your name, and so that you know you must say something, so that we can both enjoy this class together. Can anyone volunteer, or I should do the roll call? Which one? Should I do the roll call? Just to give us a
yes,
gist.
sir.
Okay, I should do the roll call.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay. Ngozi, let me hear from you. Maybe in just 2 sentences.
Yes, sir. President.
We lost your audio. Please, can you...
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please just go ahead. Just go ahead. Leave the greetings. Oh, unfortunately, we can't hear you. How can you hear you from my hand?
Hello?
Perhaps, yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Okay, network. Maybe the next person can do that as well. Let me call Adetuberu. Adetuberu, please, over to you. Adetuberu, I'm with you. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
sir, we talked about social work, sir.
Please
sir,
come
can you
again.
hear me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I said we talked about the core of social work, sir.
The core
values of social work.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. I think
social justice, dignity and blessing. Sir, can you hear that?
I can hear that. Yeah, you talk about dignity, justice.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
and
great.
Importance of human relationship.
Importance of human relationship.
Human relationship, yes, sir.
It's all right. Your network is breaking anyway. I can get the gist. Thank you. You can stop at that.
Yes.
Thank you, Adetuberu. Infinite Odd 7. I can identify you. So next time you are joining the class, please always put your right name. So your name cannot be Infinite, please, anyway. Okay, please, can you take over from Adetuberu? Proceed from where Adetuberu stopped. Okay, Infinite is not visible here. Okay. Adeyeye, please. Adeyeye.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, our competent teacher, lecturer, and mentor. You taught us last week about the quality of a social worker.
Yeah.
And you talk at length, and you cited some example of some quack social worker. And Mrs. Ngozi was trying to let us know there are a lot of quack social worker around. And you said that is why this program is on, for us to have a competent and quality social worker. You lay a series of examples that make me open eye about what is called the quality of social worker. and it's not to carry the certificate alone, but how to apply the applications matters. Thank you, sir.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate that. Akon Ma, am I right? If you are there,
Yeah,
can you?
right, sir.
Oh, thank you. Just
Yes, sir. Yeah, last week you were trying to expose what it means to be a competent social worker to us, and why do we need social works, what it means, and all of that. Yes, that last week. Even though at some point I missed some part of the class, but then because of network, but you were trying to expose what it means to be a competent social worker to us.
great. God bless you. And Angela. Angela, if you are there, you
Hello?
unmute and speak. Yeah, who is that? Akoma, you can, okay. Angela, unmute and speak up. Okay, if you are still struggling with your device, Oyem, Han, Oyemechi. All right, no response. Asmau, can we hear from you? Asmau. Ayomide. Ayomide, were you in class last week? Assis. Assis.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon,
Okay.
sir.
Hello,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Good
Please,
afternoon.
Asmau, sir.
Asmau, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. We talked about duties of a social worker.
Okay. Mention
Yes,
one.
sir. Respecting the right
Mention
of...
one.
Hello?
We are with you. Please go ahead. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Okay. Is there maybe network? Maybe
Hello,
network.
sir. Hello, can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
We can hear
The
you.
right
Please go ahead.
that you respect the choice of your clients
Okay.
and their decisions.
Okay.
Yes, and
Thank
while
you.
treat them wholeheartedly.
Oh, great.
And
Great.
also and ensure that you give them the energy, the strength to face their lives and other things.
Thank you so much,
And
Asmau.
developing...
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Can
Jumbo,
you hear
please. Go ahead. We can
Jumbo?
hear you. Asmau
Okay.
is okay. Oh,
Jumbo,
yeah, go
sir.
ahead. Hello, good afternoon.
Jumbo, yes. Last week we looked at what is competence in social work. You now narrated to us that knowledge has competence has to do with knowledge, skills, and attitude. You know, this knowledge is based on application of what you have studied, the training you have gotten as a social worker. Then the skill talks about the practical aspect that you have gained as an experienced social worker. For instance, now, if you're a student of social worker, the practicum, what you are taught in physical life. Then the attitude of a social worker, you know, which has to do with the way the social worker handles the client. You know, it has to do with also values, emotional, how you treat your client is very important. The relationship between the service user, which is our client, and the service provider, which is the social worker, that is very key.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Hakim.
Did you say Aziz or Hakim?
Assis, I called you, but you didn't respond. Okay, Assis, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Assis, you have the floor. Good afternoon.
Yes, last week, you taught us about social work as a whole, and as a social worker, how we should be able to understand that our personal experiences affect and influence our professional judgment. And in our relationship with the client, and how a social worker can, make use of the experiences that we have gathered all the years through the training. And we should always be learning and know our environment in order to be competent in delivering the service that we have for the clients.
Thank you so much. Hakim, your turn.
Sir?
Your turn. You are done, Mr. Assis. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm just joining now, sir. I'm just joining. I'm lost.
All right,
yes.
Listen. So we're looking at what we did last week, what you've been able to pick from what we did last week. So you can be thinking about that while I call on Ayomide is not ready, right? Emene, Claret. Yes, I remember Claret was in class. Claret, if you are there.
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we discussed about distinguished professional social workers, how we are going to provide services. Then, as a social worker, we need to help one another. Then, to participate in charity, and we must have something. Okay. Then, you also taught us about how social worker is concerned about empowering people and enhance the well-being of individual communities.
Thank you. Thank you. Let others speak from you, move on from where you stopped. Chinyere, sorry. Chinyere. If you are there, you can unmute. Okay. Okay, you prepare in faith. Faith. Faith, can you unmute and speak? No? Ifeoluwa Bankole. Ifeoluwa, sorry. Ifeoluwa.
Hello, good evening. So last week we spoke about the competencies, and one of the competencies you mentioned is cultural competence, where we need to acknowledge other people's culture, their differences, even as regards their religion. We need to appreciate and respect those when we are trying to profess solutions and help to individuals. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Love Day.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is Faith.
Faith, okay.
So we talked about the duty of a social worker. You said respect the right to self-determination, promoting the right to participation, treating each person as a whole, identifying and developing strength, changing negative discrimination.
Like what? Negative discrimination. Can you give us an example of negative discrimination?
I want to raise my hand.
Negative discrimination. It's all right. Maybe somebody else will do that. Love Day.
Sir.
Yeah.
Chinyere, I'm here, sir.
Chinyere, okay, please. I take the floor.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, last week we talked about characteristics and skills of a successful social worker. We mentioned empathy, communication, organization, critical thinking, active listening, self-care, cultural competence, patience, advocacy, objectivity, and persistence, sir.
All right. Thank you. Love Day, if you are there.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So you were asking about challenging negative discrimination. Okay. You explained that a social worker has the right to challenge negative discrimination, like discrimination by age, culture, gender, sex. A social worker have the right to challenge it, find out some interventions that can help to stop or reduce gender inequality.
Great.
And also we talk about recognition of diversity.
You don't do, so that others can have something to say. Thank you, Mobolaji. Mobolaji, so that others will not say that is what I wanted to say. That Love Day has said everything. So Mobolaji, can you please speak up?
Good
Okay.
evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
As your host said, you all taught us well last week, and one thing I go home with last week is you asked a question that really touches mine last week. You said, is it all trained social worker are professionals? And that question really struck mine that not all trained, not everyone that attend this, not everyone that in the line of social worker are professionals. And according to the topic, the title of the course talks about the competence and quality service delivery. And I could go home that we need to follow the ethics of social workers so that we can deliver quality service to our clients. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Mohammed. Mohammed, are you there? Okay. Oyindamola. Oyindamola. Scholar. No answer.
Good afternoon. This is Hoyin. I was not in class last week. I'm just joining.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay, you are not in class. All right. But you must have picked one or two things from what others have been able to tell us.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. Just keep on listening. You will catch up.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sola.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you're speaking with me?
Yeah, are you? Who is that? Is that Sola?
Yeah, this is Shola. Thank you, sir. Mr. Yakub, only thanks. I was not in the last class, but I think there should be a material for this.
Yes, ask your mate. He's on the platform already.
Oh, I was not in the last class. I missed the last class.
Contact, please get in touch with your mate. They will link you up with the material. Scholar, are you there?
Thank you.
All right. Soliu. If Scholar is not answering, Soliu, are you there? Soliu.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yes, we can hear you.
Sir, Scholar is better.
Okay, Scholar, please go ahead.
Yes. You taught us about the duties of social workers. You said challenging negative discrimination. You said that social workers have a responsibility to challenge negative discrimination on the basis of characteristics such as ability, age, culture, gender, or sex, and so on.
Great. Thank you. Invariably, I talk about social worker to be in the best position to ensure that we have social justice, that no person should be discriminated against on basis of age, color, class, religion, tribe, and so on and so forth. So otherwise, if you do that, you are promoting inequality, which is actually one of the goals that the SDG, the Sustainable Development, looks at, which is promoting or reducing inequality or promoting gender equality. So that is a good one. But as a social worker, you should remove any traits of discrimination in your blood, and you start from yourself. So who is that person that has not spoken? Soliu. Scholar, thank you. Soliu.
Thank you, sir.
Soliu, 1 minute. Soliu, if you are there, unmute and speak.
Are you hearing me, sir? Hello, sir.
All
Good
right.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear? No, you have muted again. Unmute and speak. Unmute
Hello,
and leave
sir.
your mic. Yes,
Hello,
we can
sir.
hear you. Speak
Okay.
on. Speak on.
Okay. We talk about the duties of social workers. where we have self-determination, that is to allow individuals to make their own choices. And we still talk about the equitable distribution of resources and participation in any activities that well-being is guaranteed. So that is.
Great. Thank you.
All
Thank
right, sir.
you.
All right,
Yeah.
sir.
Princess.
Yes, sir. It's Prince Will.
Oh, Prince Will. Sorry. Prince Will. Sorry, what's the difference? Prince Will and Princess. Okay, don't worry. Just go ahead with our class. We can discuss that later.
Okay, sir.
Prince,
You said that social work is all about empowering, educating, and enhancing individual, family, and the community at large, human rights and social justice. You also talked about the duties of a social worker. So one of them is we should treat individual as a whole, not in isolation. You also cited the example of a couple that we shouldn't treat just if a couple come to us. We should not just treat one person. That we should just treat them as a whole. You also said that in social work we should not and religion does not have a place in social work, in as much as God exists and we all recognize that there is God. We should not take like we should not say this person is a Christian, so I'm going to treat the person, while the other person is a Muslim, I'm not going to treat the person. So we should all know that religion is not applicable in social work. So we should treat everybody equally. Thank you.
thank you so much. Asuko. Asuko. Oh, Aneti. Asuko, if you are there, were you there? Were you in class last week?
Yes, good afternoon, class. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon,
Hello.
sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, good afternoon. So we talk about hello,
We are
sir.
with you.
We spoke about the competencies of we spoke about the competencies of a social worker. That we will not just not because maybe somebody's practicing as a social worker, but rather the person should be able to maybe have some background in trainings that will bring the person, that will make the person, that makes the person a social worker, not just the qualification, not just because he's working as a social worker, because there are some people that were trained as auxiliaries, and there are other people, they brought other professions into it. So we need these trainings to be able to meet up the balance, to make a balance, and bring us up to the level of social workers and have the necessities that we need to be one. Hello, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You can
Thank
mute
you,
your mic. Thank you, Anette. Yes, we have heard you. So I want to thank everyone that has contributed. And we need to move straight to what we are to do today. It means that you actually followed, everyone followed what we discussed briefly last week as introductory parts of our lecture. Today, as I promised, I said we're going to start looking at the competencies that have been identified that are very relevant to social work practice for effective or quality service delivery. You recall that last week I was able to explain to some extent what these core competencies are. So when we say core competencies in social work, we are referring to the essential knowledge, skills, values, and behaviors that we expect social worker to demonstrate. As a professional, what do you profess? When you profess, you must profess on knowledge. You must profess based on the skills that you have, that you possess. You can only also profess when you have right values, when we can see certain values in you that are very, very important in the existence of that your profession. And again, we want to see what are those behaviors that are expected of you. And where can we get all this? It is when you look at that profession very well, are there code of ethics, or is there any code of ethics, or do we have a number of regulations that actually guide the operation of that profession? So what I'm saying in essence is that for you to understand very well the competencies that are required of you, in addition to everything that we do here, you need also to equip yourself with the code of conduct or code of ethics of social work profession. So in essence, when you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the right values and that behavior, you'll be able to demonstrate to people effectively and ethically across different settings for people to know that actually this is a social worker. So if you are not different from any other person in the discharge of your duty, so how do we describe you? How do we identify you? So what name, what tag do we give to you? So there must be something that there must be something that must be done differently from other people. Then we say this is a professional. Look at the case of the mechanics, the electrical engineer, the bricklayers, the carpenters, all these people. Why do we call them those names? Because they are able to display or to demonstrate the skills they have in those fields to people to see effectively. I know for sure we have many women in this class. If you have a fashion designer, and maybe for the first time, you are trying that fashion designer for the first time, and that person disappoints you in a way. So what do you do next time? You think about it twice. Do I give my clothes to that person again, or do I change hand? And if eventually your fashion designer or your tailor has been able to give you a very good product, so to say, to deliver well to you, which to you is a quality job. So what do? You want to, what do? You want to continue to patronize such a person. So you become customers. Your relationship will be strengthened. Why are you doing that? You're doing that because you have identified that that person, that's your fashion designer, is what? Is qualified, and is also she has or she possesses good knowledge of that particular job, and she could demonstrate to you that actually she has the skills, and in everything she has given you, you are satisfied with it. So when you want to tell your friends, you want to tell your neighbors, you want to tell your mates, you want to tell your colleagues about that person, you want to be promoting that person, you will want to recommend that person, you want to recommend that your fashion designer, your own fashion designer, you want to recommend it to your friends, and that is what happens in practice. Because of what? Because that person, that professional, she has given you professional service that you cannot obtain from other people. She has done something differently from what you used to have, from what you used to experience before now. So, meaning that that person is what? Is competent. Meaning that that person has demonstrated effectively to you and has given you what you deserve. So, which means you build that relationship. You will not want that relationship, and that your fashion designer will not want your relationship to just suffer. So, we want to maintain that relationship, and it is by demonstrating our skills, demonstrating the values what C values, like honesty, integrity, trust, and so on and so forth. Her behaviors will continue to motivate you to go to her. So that is why we are talking about that competencies. So in essence, the core competencies that we're going to look at today are: one, you must demonstrate, like I said, ethical and professional behavior. Ethical and professional behavior. How do you demonstrate this? When we talk about ethical and professional behavior, when we are talking about ethics, we are talking about values. We are talking about morals. We are talking about right or wrong. You're looking at it in that perspective. And you're talking about behavior, we are talking about conduct. How does your conduct influence what you discharge, influence your professional service delivery? These two, there is a correlation between the two. Your conduct and your professional behavior. Your personal behavior, your professional skill, the professional knowledge that you have, your service delivery, and your conduct. You will see when you finish from the university, your first degree. If you look at your certificate, I'm sure of those first generation universities, they will put it there. They having satisfied condition, having satisfied to be of a good character, and to be also to have performed well academically. They joined the two together, having found to be of good character and to have performed well, to have passed the exam, that to have demonstrate academic ability. He or she is being awarded this certificate this day, so, because they are taking the two together. There's no way you can have the competence, there's no way you can have the skills, there's no way you can have the professional knowledge, and your conduct is the other way. And if your conduct is the opposite, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? And this is what happens mostly in most professions. You can imagine a medical doctor that knows that smoking is dangerous to health, and he's smoking. That drinking alcohol is not healthy, and he continues to drink alcohol. So what are you talking about? How does he preach? How does he advise? How does he counsel his clients? How? It will be very difficult for him. He will not be able to convince them. Or you talk about pastor, you talk about the imam, the imam that has preached about morality. And it's the same imam or the same pastor that's engaged in immoral acts, that is caught up in so many illicit conducts. So is there a correlation? So talking about ethical and professional behavior, a social worker should be able to demonstrate that he or she has integrity, and professional conduct must be such that people will value that professional conduct in him. That is to say, he must demonstrate the conduct professionally. If you look at the lawyers, no, let me go to the members of the bench or the judges. Hardly will you see them in social functions. Why? Because it's against their professional conduct. It's against their professional behavior to appear in crowd and just engage in those social gathering just like ordinary person can do. If they do it quietly in their private. That is what in their privacy, that is what they just do. But except unless it is compulsory for them to attend a very big, important social function, you hardly see them. Even when you see them there, they are very, very quiet. That you will not even notice that they are there, because it's part of their conduct. It's part of their professional ethic that they shouldn't mingle much
Is
with the
it
multitude.
lawyers or judges?
I said judges. Judges. Judges, because why? They don't know when they can mingle with the criminals, they can mingle with the litigants, and so on and so forth. So they are very, very careful. You said what? Is anybody disturbing the class? All right, thank you. So, then again, we want to talk about adhering to ethical principles. For instance, what are the ethical principles in social work? We talk about confidentiality. We talk about the right of your service user, the client rights. The client's rights. You must protect their rights. These are ethical principles. Confidentiality, consent. You seek the consent of your client before you engage him or her. It is very important, and that is ethical anyway. Then we also talk about self-reflection as well. We talk about self-reflection. So how do you get this ethical conduct, professional conduct, or code of ethics or code of conduct? When you look at the professional body, do you have access, or have you heard about the act establishing this institute? I'm asked, are you aware that this institute is established by an act of parliament? Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. We are aware.
Yes, sir.
You are aware. Okay, have you taken
Yes,
your
sir,
time?
we are aware.
Great. Have you taken your time to go through those sections in the act? By the time you go through them, you will see a particular section that talks about code of conduct or code of ethics. And that one talks about the professional conduct. So you need to check and see what we are talking about. That is as prescribed by the act. Not only acts, you also need to look at other regulations, look at other legislations, look at other policies, look at some other code of conduct as set by the government as well. You know, all of us, we operate within a state, meaning that government has say on every one of us. There's no individual court anyway. If there's any dispute, where do we go? We go to court. And who owns the court? Is it not the state that owns the court? It's the state that owns the court. So that is why you must not do something that will be against the ways of the state, in quotes. That is, that we in any way disturb the peace of the state. If you are found on that pedestal, the state will start to wage war against you. That is why you see people, the criminals, when they commit offense, if it is criminal offense, they say this offense, at times, some offense, some offense are against the state. It's the state that takes those up. Have you not been hearing that? The state is going to be the state versus that person because it's a criminal offense. Because it's a criminal offense. Very criminal one is going to be a kind of a case between the state and that particular person. The state will take it up. So we also talk about using supervision and self-reflections. So as social workers, we must understand frameworks of this ethical decision-making and how to apply principles of critical thinking to those frameworks in practice, research, and policy arenas. So when we mention ethical and professional behavior, that is what we mean. That is what we mean. You cannot be a professional and you don't know the rules that guide your operations. You don't wait until, there's no ignorance in law. You don't wait until you are told, Mr. Social Worker, are you aware of a particular law that says so? Are you aware that in your code of conduct, you must not do this, you must not do that? Why do we have code of conduct bureau in Nigeria? Why? After the code of conduct, we have code of conduct tribunal. The code of conduct bureau is established to actually to safeguard or to let people, to ensure that we have transparency, we have accountability in the operation of a public, any public institution or public office. When you hold any public office, you are accountable to the people. You need to let people know what you have. It's one of the prerequisites of office. When you assume any office as a public officer, you must declare your assets. When you declare your assets, you are making the process transparent. You are making it known to people to know. You are making it known to people to know that this is what you have before you even get to the office. After you leave office, you also do that. And the institution that is responsible for that is the Code of Conduct Bureau. So why? Because it is Code of Conduct Bureau, because there are standards that are set in their gazette, in their mandate, what it is the bureau is expected to do, and it's all about conduct. It's all about professional conduct. Meaning that if you are a public officer, you must do that. But if you are a private individual, you have no business with that, because you are now accountable to the public. But if you are if the public repose confidence in you to lead in any capacity, you are responsible to them. You need to be accountable to them. That is why some people are jailed because they declare, because of some false declaration. You remember what happened during Saraki's what is it again? The Senate, when before he became the Senate president, while he was the Senate president, they wanted to nail him because of code of conduct, the asset declaration, that he didn't declare, that he had, he presented false declaration and so on and so forth. That he declared his asset on falsehood. That is for the public officials. So every profession, where I'm going is, every profession has its own code of conduct. And the social work is not an exception. So the next one is engaging diversity and difference. Engage diversity and difference in practice. Like I explained last week, you, as social worker, you need to understand how culture, race, ethnicity, gender, age, etc. shape identity. I'm a Yoruba man now. Someone is an Igbo man, another person is a Hausa man. I may be a Muslim, you may be a Christian, some may even be traditional believers. So, as social worker, you should understand the diversity in those traits that everybody have. You should understand it. It's a must for you to understand it. Don't say, I'm not a Muslim. I don't need to know what their code say. Or I don't need to know the principle in Islam. I don't need to know what they do in their area. As a social worker, you need to know everything in something. You need to know everything in something, and something in everything. Meaning that social worker, you must be an all-rounder. All-rounder in the sense that at least you must possess a little knowledge of everything, especially differences, especially diversity. You must understand that, because when you practice, you meet all this practically. And how do you navigate that water when you are there? How do you navigate it when you have such challenge? So that is why you must understand the culture, you must understand the race, the differences, ethnicity. What are the differences? Gender, like Nigeria as a whole. You don't say because I'm a Igbo person, I'm an Igbo man, what is my business with Hausa people? You need to know something about their culture as well. How can you tell us, or are you sure your intervention will not start from the north? Your intervention may start from the north. Is it at that point that you want to understand their culture? Is it at that point you want to understand their religion? or you want to understand any other identity around them. No, you don't need to wait until then. You need to know little thing about them. You should be able to say something. It may shock you. If you ask some Christian, they can tell you how Muslims pray daily, the number of times the Muslims pray, what they do on Friday, what they do on the celebration day, like Ileya and Eid al-Fitr. And some Muslims too can tell you the kind of denomination that we have in Christianity and how they worship, how they differ from one to another. Okay, at this point, let me just digress a bit. How many of us are Catholic Christians in this class? If you're a Catholic Christian, can you just say hi?
Hi. Hi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You know doctrines. Yes, thank you. Yes, you know doctrine that we have in Catholic. There are doctrines that you have in Catholic that are not in that are all with Jehovah's Witnesses. The seventh day, you know, they go to church on Saturday. Yes. So that person should please mute his or mic so that you don't allow me to move from my hand here, please. Thank you. So, what the deeper life people do? Sorry, just a minute. Somebody is disturbing me. I need to please. Is it Asuko? Asuko, please. Can you mute your mic? Mute your mic from your hand. I need to. Please mute your mic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's all right. So, what I'm saying in essence is that we have different doctrines, even among the Christians. We have the same in Islam as well. So, but it is important for a social worker to understand all this. I don't know what happens these days, though. In those days when you go to Russia, yes, I still remember. I remember one of our brothers that had scholarship to study in, was it in Russia? Okay, in Germany, sorry, in Germany. Being a university lecturer, he was forced to learn their language first. He was forced, the first year or the first 2 years of his stay in Germany, he learned German language. It's for him to be proficient in whatever he wanted to do. And he did this. Why? So for that will be another advantage to him. So the same thing when you are a social worker, I'm not asking you to go and learn Hausa, or when you are Yoruba, when you are Igbo, you go, but you should know something about what they do, about what they value, what they don't value. If you are a social worker, you are a male social worker, and you have intervention in the north, and you know the culture of the northerners or the Muslim does not allow an outsider who is a male outsider to just come into their compound and have interaction with their wives. Unlike in our own case in the south. So when you are used to southern culture or southern ways of doing things, you don't apply the same when you go to the north. So that is why a social worker, for us to know that you are a competent person, you must engage in diversity and difference, understand the differences, understand the diversity in everybody's. So you need to practice cultural humility and inclusivity. Cultural humility and inclusivity. You see, some people are culturally arrogant. Culturally arrogant. They don't want to hear about any other culture except their own. They are so selfish. And as a social worker, no, you shouldn't be selfish. You shouldn't be selfish. You put your self-interest aside and you give consideration to the interest of your service user or the interest of the community at large. So you must be humble. The cap you wear must be that of humility. Culturally, what do I mean? You need to respect the culture of other persons. Of course, if you are from one culture and your client is from another culture, definitely if you don't respect his or her culture, your intervention will be zero impact, zero effect. Work done will just be zero because you have not respected him, even though the issue or the challenge he or she has nothing to do with the culture. But for respecting his or her culture, you see that will pave way, that will even smoothen way the path that you're going to tread to ensure that that person enjoys a life that is full of joy, happiness. It is when you do that. So you talk about inclusivity. You include every stakeholders, include those that you think are very necessary. Don't exclude. Don't use the doctrine of exclusion. You know that some people that do that, you exclude people when you want to cheat them, when you want to promote injustice. You exclude some people. Only few just do it. When all of you are members of the community development association in your neighborhood, and you have an opportunity, or maybe the local government or the state government, or you are your CDA is a beneficiary of a particular palliative program or whatever, or packages, and you have those packages, and it is at that point, because you are the chairman, you try to exclude some people, that these ones will not be part of this. So they are not ESCO members, so let's give ESCO member 2020. So all of that, we don't need to give it to them. Let only the ESCO member to share this, because they didn't tell us that it extends to others, or this cannot go around everybody, every member. At your own table, at that micro level, you are trying to exclude some people. You practicing exclusion principle. And when you do that, you only promote the interests of the individuals. You forget about the interests of the group. And when that happens, you are trying to imbibe the principle of what we call the tragedy of commons. The tragedy of commons. When the individuals, they prefer their self-interest over and above the interest of the community. And as a result of that, the resources, they will allocate it to themselves, and the resources will not be available, will not be enough for others. And within short time, the resources will be depleted. And when it is depleted, the community at large will suffer, and they will think on their own, they have enough to take care of them. And that is what is happening in Nigeria today. Of course, it's been happening in Nigeria. So are you part of that system that promotes that, or that system that does not promote inclusivity? That is why the SDG today, SDG that we have by the United Nations, talks much about this. Inclusion of others. Don't exclude anyone, either on the basis of age. Don't discriminate on the basis of age, or ability, or physical appearance, or status, economic power, or culture, religion, and so on and so forth, political affiliations. But does that happen in practice? As a social worker, you do not allow that system, that kind of that disease to infest you as well. So number 3, advancing human rights, human rights and social, economic, and environmental justice. I think I explained that very well last week. Human rights. All of us will know what human rights is. We have human rights activists, even though they claim to be human rights activists, but at the end of the day, they collude with the government, they join the government forces, even to they join the government forces to do what? I don't want to use a language that will disparage them. Some of them, they will just join they use that human rights platform to advance their own causes, their own self-interest. They will advance it. At a point in time, they will just mingle with the government, and they continue to be the same thing. So hardly will you now see the difference between their own system and the system of government they were criticizing before they joined them. You can imagine what is happening. Now, imagine what is happening now. Do we call them rights? Do we call them the genuine human rights activists? At a point in time when they will have won your heart to themselves and did not join the bad wagon, in quotes. So as a social worker, your responsibility, one of such competencies that we expect from you is that of advancing human rights. Do not allow the right of anybody, any human being, to suffer, or do not allow it to be violated in any way, but always promote what? Human rights, social, economic, and environmental justice. In this case, you need to promote equity and oppose oppression and discrimination. What is equity? What is equality? I think you should know the difference. You should promote equity. What is equity? Let me just give an instance of equity. But many people, they mistake, they misconstrue the two. Equity, they equate equity to equality. No, it's not like that. Let me put it this way for your understanding. We have 3 major tribes. Other tribes too, please forgive me. Let's say we have 3 major tribes in Nigeria. Or let me just say, let's take 3 tribes out of the about 250 tribes that we have in this country. Let's take Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, right? When we take the 3 of them, their population, or let me say their characteristics.
I thought that
okay.
Yes, but I want to check. Okay.
You are disturbing us. Yeah. You are disturbing us. This person is disturbing us, please. So, Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, let's take the 3 of them. You know quite well that the 3 of them, they don't have the same characteristics. For instance, let's take population. Let's take population as an for example, their population. I mean, their population figure. If Yoruba, let's say Yoruba is 2 million, Igbo is 1.5 million, and Hausa is 3.5 million. So when we want to distribute resources, if you have let's say 900,000 naira, let's say for instance we want to give them 9 million naira, let's say 9 million naira to the three groups. Are we going to divide 9 million naira by 3? When we divide 9 million naira by 3, it means that each tribe will take 3 million, isn't it? They will take 3 million. That is equality. Without regard to other factors, without regards to other characteristics within that particular group. That is equality. Because 9/3 is always equal to 3. But when we talk about equity, equity means according to the characteristics they possess, or each of the tribe has. For instance, we are taking population. We are taking population as a factor now. If the population of Yoruba is 2 million people, Igbo is 1.5 million, 3.5 million. You know, if you give them 3 million each, it means that Igbo will benefit more than others because they have the least population. But in equity, you give to them proportionally according to the strength of their population, according to the figure of their population. When you do that, that is equity. That is equity. Because 3 million may be too much for the Igbos. Why 3 million will not be enough for Hausa because it's 3.5. Yoruba will take 2 million naira out of our own 3 million naira, and Yoruba will have 1 million naira reserve. Igbo will have 1.5 million naira in reserve, while Hausa will have 500,000 as deficit. So if it is equality, so but we're talking about equity, but essentially promoting equality that the SDG talks about actually explains all this I'm telling you. So when you advance human rights, you're talking about equity. You're talking about opposing oppression. You are talking about opposing discrimination, challenge discrimination, like somebody reminded us when we started this class. You challenge oppression, you challenge discrimination, and you also advocate for marginalized groups. You know, there are some special populations in our society that we need to take care of. Such special population include the marginalized group. They are special because they feel marginalized. Another marginalized group, people living with disability, you must advocate for them because they are part of the society and they seem to be marginalized. I remember a time when the Southeast people, the Southeast region of this country, was clamoring, was protesting federal government policies, and they were accusing the federal government, but I don't know whether that also happens now. But in some years back, I remember they challenged the federal government, or they alleged the federal government of marginalizing their zone. One, because it is the only zone in Nigeria that has 5 states instead of 6. Whilst some states have 7 states. I mean, some regions have 7 states. If the Southeast has 5, others they have 6. So they were saying that they are being marginalized. If truly they are marginalized, you need to look into their own case as well. So as a social worker, you don't put sentiment into it and look at it. If they are marginalized, if you identify a marginalized group, you try to protect their interests. That is what this advancing human rights, socio-economic and environmental justice. And if you are very conversant with the 17 sustainable development goals from 1 to 17, you know there are 17 goals. If you are conversant with it, the whole 17 goals, all the 17 goals are encapsulated into these 3 categories. Broadly, you can put them in these 3 categories. All the 17 goals, you go and read through, you will notice that. So you can categorize them into social, economic, and environmental justice. There are goals that talk about social security, that talk about social aspect of life, that talks about social protection. There are goals like that. For instance, education. I think goal 3 or goal 2. I mean goal 3. Sorry. Goal 3 talks about health. Goal 4 talks about education. That education, is it social? Goal 2 talk about hunger. Goal 1 talk about poverty. Is that not social? Is that not social protection? Is that not social? Then goal 5 talk about gender equality. All those ones, they are what? They are under social protection. That is the social aspect of the society, I mean, sustainable development goals. Then you talk about economy. Where we talk about providing employment for everybody, industry, development, innovation, agri, and so on and so forth. They are also talking about economy, giving everybody economic power. Environmental justice, where the goals touch about environmental protection. So many activities are degrading our environment these days. And we talk about climate change. How do we mitigate the effect of climate change? If we cannot mitigate, how do we adapt? Talking about mitigation and adaptation of the impact of climate change. Energy. Do we have a renewable energy which is sustainable? Do we have alternative to fossil fuel? All this, or do we still continue to live in carbon democracy? So all this, as a professional social worker, this should be part of your competencies. You should have that skill to advance human rights and other associated systems that will demonstrate to people that actually you are professional. So as a professional, and you don't care, you care less about protecting our environment, about reducing the effect of climate change, about how best we can eliminate the use of carbon monoxide, the release of carbon monoxide into the air that we breathe in. How do we reduce pollution or eradicate or even prevent pollution in our environment? So all this, you should put them together. No one can be handled in isolation. They are interconnected. So we talk about interconnectivity of these goals. So we are not going there anyway, but we'll still be talking about sustainable development goals. I hope you have seen the assignment I sent to you. It has connection with what I just explained. Number 4, engaging in practice-informed research and research-informed practice. Practice-informed research and research-informed practice. Of course, this is self-explanatory. You are, in this case, do you have that competence that shows that you can use evidence-based interventions? You can make use of evidence-based interventions. That is, those interventions that you can show to people as evidence of your success. Can you make use of the outcomes that you get from that intervention? And it can be used as research. I will give you examples. Then, evaluating one's practice and contribution and contributing to research. Can you use your practice? Can you evaluate it and get a nexus between what you do and research? Does it contribute to any research? Does your research lead to evidence-based interventions? So there are two ways to that. What I'm explaining is this. As social workers, you need to understand how quantitative and qualitative research, how to make use of quantitative and qualitative research methods. And you need to understand their respective roles in advancing science of social work and evaluating their practice. What we are saying is that as a professional, you need to have knowledge of how to conduct research that will give you evidence, that will give us evidence-based intervention. You see, research leads to innovation, isn't it? And research leads to other invention. Research also helps us to solve some problems in the society, some existing problems. Some research or some researches may also solve future problems, but at times some research solves some existing problems. Like I posted to you, I talk about FGM, and I know you understand what the FGM means, female genital mutilation. Is it a problem now in Nigeria? You need to find out, is it a problem? If it is a problem, how do we solve that problem? When you conduct research on the female genital mutilation as a problem, your results, your findings, do your findings actually solve that particular problem you have identified? If your findings solve the problem, it means that your research has given us and can lead us to have evidence-based intervention, which means we can use your research findings in the society and solve that particular problem that is affecting the society at that point in time. That is intervention. You are using that research to solve that problem. For instance, female genital mutilation is always associated with the is associated with the traditional practice. In some culture or some religion, they promote it. I asked about the Catholic. I understand that in the Catholic, they promote female genital mutilation. Right or wrong? Can anybody answer me?
It's wrong, oh. I've never
It's
heard
wrong.
that.
You
Yes,
never
I've
heard
never
that?
heard that. Yes.
Okay, that female
It's
genital
wrong,
mutilation
I'm a
is
Catholic.
promoted.
I've never heard
Guys,
that.
wrong.
It
Yeah,
has
it's
not
wrong.
been established
Wrong,
by
sir.
any researcher.
It's
Never
wrong.
heard about it.
So it is not the statement has not been established. Anything that has not been established by a researcher is null and void, sir.
Yes, but have you heard about it?
No, sir. It has
You have
never.
not heard about it at all. That in the Catholic setting they promote female genital mutilation.
No,
I've
sir.
never heard of it before.
I've never
I've
heard
been
of
a
it.
Catholic all my life.
Okay,
No.
good.
It's
We are
a, it's
learning.
a myth. It's a myth.
Okay, it's a myth. Okay, good. Because
Yeah, it's myth and misconception.
oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for that enlightenment. Because I read in some literature. I read one literature. I will find out and get you posted. I think I read something about it in one literature, in one research findings. And that person, I mean, maybe maybe it is one NGO or whatever. I cannot remember vividly now, but I think I came across it. Are you aware that Ebonyi State has the highest prevalence rate in Nigeria? Are
The
you
highest
aware?
what, sir? I didn't get it.
Highest what, sir?
Prevalence rate of FGM, female genital mutilation. Ebonyi. Is anybody from Ebonyi here?
Maybe, I don't know.
Is anybody from Ebonyi here? And that
from
is
Ebonyi
closely.
State.
You are from Ebonyi?
Yes, and it's true.
Yeah, please find out. That
Yeah,
is what is in the literature and is in the ministry, Federal Ministry of Health. It's everywhere. And
it's true.
just a
The
minute.
statistics is
This is
correct.
closely followed. Hello? You may not
Hello, sir.
know if you have not read any literature about it, but you can go and read literature about female genital mutilation in Nigeria. You see that Ebonyi State is leading, followed by Ekiti. I think followed by Ekiti, right? Followed by there's one other state. About 6. Osun is on number 6. That's 6 on the prevalence rate. 6, about 45.9. Sorry if I can see my paper here. I will quickly read it out to you to understand what I'm trying to say. Just for you to know that. Sorry, just a minute. I want to read the figure out to you. I don't know where I picked that thing. I will let you know as we progress when I get the paper. I think I have the paper somewhere. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. It's just a digression, but it's important that we do that. You can also research on it and give me feedback. I just digress on that because as a professional, you need to know some things that happen in our environment, even if you are not working on it, but you need to know that. Okay, I have it here.
Okay.
I have it here. According to that report, that is the report from the Federal Ministry of Health and some NGOs that were conducted. I think it was in 2023 or 2020, 2023 or 20, but as at 2018, in the prevalence rate, that is the rate of occurrence of that FGM, telling us about the number, the percentage of women that have been caught. We have, I mentioned Ebonyi as leading, sorry, is Imo, according to that statistics. Imo Imo is leading with 61.7%. Ekiti followed by Ekiti 57.9%. Ebonyi 53.2%. Ebonyi is number 3. Kaduna 48.8%. Kwara 46%. Osun 45.9%. That is number 6. Followed by Ondo 43.7%. That is state by state. If it is by religion, that is why you need to find this out. It is by religion. Catholic by religion. Catholic accounts for 24.5%. Other Christians account for 19.4%. Islam 18.7%. Traditionalists 11.9%. Others 2.2%. This could be found in the National Demographic Health System 2018. So that is why I asked about Catholic the other time. I know I read it, and I know I got a very astonishing percentage. But however, you can try and find out whether that is correct or wrong. This is as a result of research. It's not just we are just speaking. All this I got from literatures. I got them from literature. You can Google and say, ask for prevalence rate of FGM in Nigeria. It will give you state by state, give you tribe by tribe, and it also give you, especially for women of age 15 to 49 years. 15 to 49 years. Those that have been caught. That is, those that have been exposed to female genital mutilation. That is what I mean by those that have been caught. So thank you. That is about engaging in practice informed. So if you conduct a research, like I told you, on that particular problem, and your finding can solve a problem, that your finding can be used as a method to design an intervention for that problem to be eradicated in that society or in the community where it has been established that problem exists. It could be other things. It could be other things. You know, this obstetric fistula, people believe that it is common in the north, that it is only the northerners that have problem with obstetric fistula. Until there was a research and there was an intervention, and that led the discovery of the fact that many people are also being affected by this condition. In the southeast, that led to the establishment of NOFIC in Abakaliki, for those in Ebonyi. But if you are just an outsider, you know, if you are not involved in this, you may not know or you don't find out. That led to NOFIC in Abakaliki. What is NOFIC? National Obstetric Fistula Care Center.
Sorry, sir, for intervening. I also work with the National Obstetric Fistula Center in Bauchi State.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Please speak up.
Hello? Hello, sir.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so sorry for interfering. I said I also work with the National Obstetric Fistula Center in Bauchi State. We also have one in Bauchi State.
Okay, you work in Bauchi State, in Norfolk?
Yes, with Norfolk, yes, sir.
That is in Ningi, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are aware of that?
Yes, sir. Very much aware.
Because if you are not involved, people that are not involved may not even know that you can find people with, women with obstetric fistula in the east, even in the southwest. It happens. But people, if you are not there, if you are not involved, if you have not read, if you have not had any contact, any interaction, you may not know. So that is why before you disclaim or you try to refute any information, go and find out. You go and find out through research. So what I'm saying in essence is that when you do research like that, that research will lead to what? It means that from research, you have an informed practice, you have an intervention. You can also have intervention When you have an intervention, that one could lead us into a research. When you have an intervention, the intervention may lead you to do certain research on the field, and such research can be useful, and you contribute to the knowledge database as a professional. So you must have that. So, and what we are talking about is you contributing to the science and science contributing to us. Even though you are dealing with human beings, but there is a process. There are principles that will guide your actions. There are principles that will guide your actions. So you have that opportunity to make yourself proficient, to make yourself efficient, to make yourself effective as a social worker by engaging in those researches. You don't engage in research only for you when you are studying. As a practitioner, you can do any research. You may be in your place of work. Issues may come up. You look at those issues. If it is researchable, you look at it. You discuss with colleagues. You can conduct research on that. If it is not useful today, it may be useful tomorrow. You don't just sit down and say, okay, I'm being paid in my place of work. What do I need it for? Even in your place of work, among the social workers, you can conduct research. Even in your state, how many social workers do we have that are qualified? You can conduct that research. How many are they? You'll be surprised if they ask the state government, that is the employer of all the social workers, you ask them, how many social workers do you have? They may not even have the data. But when you do your research, you will verify. Any data given to you, you want to verify. Whether you get it from primary source or you get it from a secondary source, you will want to verify. And when you publish anything, when you research an issue and you come out with findings, people will believe it because you have gone to the field to do that. You don't do research in the laboratory just like that. Social work research is not the one you do in the laboratory. You mix chemical together and you say when you put carbon, what do they call it? You put a negative and positive together, it brings this. No, you have to go into the field, meet with people, and let's hear from them. People are shouting now. The country is so bad. Country is hard to live. Can you substantiate what we are talking about? Many of us, we only do newspaper commentary or social media commentary. We rely on social media commentary without conducting any fact-finding exercise or any fact-finding study to ensure that is it true? Is it true? Has purchasing power been reduced by the removal of oil subsidy? If people are talking and you as a person, you have conducted a research, you will talk authoritatively. When I mentioned Ebonyi, I mentioned Imo and others now. When you doubted me, and I now went into the results, to the findings of a particular research, and I gave it to you. If this is not published, I have no, like somebody said, it's just I don't know how the person put it. It's just a speculation that it has not been verified.
The person said it's a myth.
Sir,
They said it's a myth.
Yes,
it's a myth.
Yeah, somebody
sir, I would like to, yeah, I said myths and misconception. Reason being that if you look at the data, the data cannot be used to generalize. The sample size that said among Catholic women has a small sample size. And if you look at the randomized...
Have you read the literature?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Prof, and in any research, we should remember that there is limitations.
There is.
We cannot generalize with the data.
There is limitation in the outcome of our research. We should know that. Like this one you gave us to write on mutilation, you need to give us structure to follow. Whether we need to do it in empirical form, whereby we will use mixed method of qualitative and quantitative to arrive, or set an hypothesis to arrive. But if we just speak on journals, there are a lot of journals all over especially now that everything is on the air. So in anything we do, I believe as a researcher, as an NGO, as a social worker for over 35 years, let me put it 40 years ago now, even though majority of people don't know that there is social worker, they don't recognize, but specifically, I'm almost 40 years as a social worker.
You know yourself.
We need to have a structure down, like you have given us this assignment. I will love you as our prof because I like your lecture and I used to commend you. Give us the structure to follow. Then we will be able to take
do you mean the assignment?
Yes, the assignment you just gave, they drop one assignment under mutilation, female mutilation. There is no structure to follow for we students. And if it's 500 words we have to write, we can do it. Our abstract will not be much. Our introduction, everything will not be much. The literature review will not be much. Then our scope of study, then our methodology.
Your objectives, the questions you will ask.
Then as a result, our findings.
Thank
you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, God bless you. You are suggesting that as you give you that one as a study to conduct. Is that your suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will look at it. I thought the one I just
did some of your student research for 2025.
Okay.
So which will supersede 2023, even last year research. Because most of this thing we are talking, because we are now in modern age, AI, artificial, people don't use those methods again, except in a local remote area that they are not civilized, they are not well read. Because if you get born to a family, nobody in the hospital, teaching hospital or private that will mutilate anything. But traditionally, some culture in a remote area, they still do it. I don't disbelieve that. But we have to make a research. We cannot sit down on the table and be writing literature books. We have to make a cogent reason, evidence that we show, if possible, pictorial evidence. That's how I do my own research.
Great. That's great.
If possible, video recording. That's how I do my own research.
Well, thank you. I'm not, even though I'm not taking, I'm not taking research methodology, and it's like we are just doing proficiency, whatever. But I felt you need to know that as well. You know, that people that will find this also interesting. When you do your further study, this will guide your steps. Well, even though you said do you know we have medicalization of this FGM as well? Some medical doctors, they do it. They still do it. That is based on research. But let's leave that one apart. When I give you that assignment, you go and explore in your own local area, find out. I will give you such research. It's going to be a short study, something that's not going to be too elaborate, that will engage you, so that you go and apply your professional skill to ensure that we can come out with something. Thank you for.
Sorry, sir. Sorry to cut you. Talking about research, not all of us know how.
Some of us are not in Nigeria.
Hello, sir. Not all of us know how to do research, oh. Not all of us have the knowledge of how to.
I think you should keep the assignment the way you kept it.
Yes. Please,
we should leave
it's fine the way it is now. It's fine the way it is.
Please keep the assignment the way you kept it, sir. We have a research program we're going to do. They said we're going to do a research program where they will group us. Yeah. So when we get to that one, we do our proper research. This is just an assignment, please.
Okay. So, giving us research. Besides, I wanted
to say we should just let it be as it is. We allow the assignment to be as it is, because 500 words, we cannot do all of that. We cannot do a complete research in 500 words. So let's just do the assignment as it is.
God will bless you.
I wanted to
I suggest that as well, let it remain assignment, because 500 words, we can only include like 3 items there if we want to be detailed.
Exactly. So, exactly. Thank you
It's
so
too
much.
small.
I've had, please. I've
Thank
had.
you,
Let
sir.
us do this. I've had. The eyes have it. I can see that there are many voices. There are many
Thank you, sir.
voices.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for listening to us, sir.
No problem. No problem. We are together. We're just looking for a way of improving ourselves. That's why I just thought about that assignment this afternoon. I mean, this morning. No, sorry, last night. I just felt, why can't we change the dimension? Let me just engage you. You just think about that, and for you to understand, if not for that assignment, perhaps I may not even dwell on FGM. And I know some people may be hearing this for the first time. Some may be hearing it for the first time. And
Yes. People
something
like,
that is very
like
close to you. You are not aware.
just hearing it for the first time.
I imagine that. Even
I
obstetric
studied
fistula.
psychology. I didn't read social work.
Imagine that. So that is important. I think I've explained. We have taken much. Even Madam Adeyeye also elaborated on the research. So you understand what research means now, because it's a complete course on its own. But it's important as a social worker. Even you can conduct mini research that you need not spend much time and your resources for you, just to keep you on the toes, just to ensure that you are also on the same page with the modern day researchers. You can read journals that are related to your field. You can read. When you read, you gain. As if you are not a participant in this class, what we said today, you may not know. If you are not a member of this class, it is quite sure that some of you must have taken one or two things from what you have said that will be useful to your own personal life, apart from your professional life. That's the essence of learning. Everybody is learning. And as social worker, you are not complacent. When anybody says anything, you can find out. So in this case, we move forward and we go to competency 5, which talks about engage in policy practice. I want to believe majority of us are aware of different policies that we have in this country, be it policy in education, policy, public service policy, be it judicial policy, all these policy. Nigeria is our worst with what? With so many policies. You can talk about it. Beautiful policies. Do you agree with me?
Yes, that's correct.
That we may not even need a new one at all if we can draft those policy and implement as it is written and follow the framework of that particular policy. We'll get to our destination. With the one we have on ground. But alas, what do we have these days? Policy today, policy tomorrow. They will just be wasting public resources trying to ensure that they have another policy. Look at what happened during Jonathan administration. Jonathan was pressurized to do what? To convey a national conference. Even though I think it was called one name, this is a conference they call it, but he convened that conference, spent our common wealth on that conference, colossal sum of money on that conference, and they converge. They wrote report, they submitted report. What happened? When you see the report, very beautiful report, they brought in different experts in different areas to chart a new way for Nigeria. Where is the policy now? Where is the policy?
In the cupboard. In the cupboard.
In the cupboard. Even if it is in cupboard, we are lucky if we can find it in the cupboard. If it has not been thrown into the market, has not been given to the market people. So you can imagine what is happening in Nigeria. If you are in that position, what will you do as a social worker? If you find yourself in that position, don't say it may not be, no, the time has passed. No. You may have the opportunity, or your friend may be there, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your nephew, your nieces, and all these people. If tomorrow they are there, what advice? How do you influence them? Because if you have somebody as a policymaker tomorrow, or you yourself, you are a policymaker, how do you influence the policy under your purview to reflect the realities on ground, to reflect all we have been saying? So invariably what I'm saying is that as a social worker, you need to have good knowledge, good understanding of how policy saves so many things in the country or wherever you are. You know, there are different policies. There are private policies, there are public policies. But we're talking about public policies in this regard. Because if it is private policy, it may not have, the impact may not be much on me, except if we have a policy and we are living in the same neighborhood. And your policy is that nobody should come to your house after 8 p.m. Maybe just for me to just stay in my house, not to come to your house. I may decide not to come to your house. But if it is a policy that affects all of us in the community, you know, it has become a public something. So we're talking about public policies in this regard. As a social worker, you need to understand the process of formulating policy. You remember last week, and it was emphasized that you must challenge unjust policy as a social worker. So how do you challenge what you don't have the understanding of? How do you challenge the process that you don't even understand? If they ask you, okay, what is your problem? Why are you here? We are protesting, or we are writing against the policy you have made on this, and they will now say which of the areas or which process, which aspect or which step or at which stage of the policy is faulty that you are challenging, and you don't understand and you don't know. You know, it becomes embarrassing. So you should understand the process of policy formulation. Okay, you are not doing policy is there any course in this particular program that has to do with the policy, social policies? Not really. It is in PPGD, the professional postgraduate diploma is there. Is there, and I take that course. It is important as a practitioner, as a professional, for you to understand policies that are relevant to your field. Policies that are relevant to your profession. You need to understand policies that are relevant to your practice. And in such cases, we'll also be looking at those legislations, those regulations. And the supreme of it is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm not sure if you have ever read the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria before now. If you have not read, it is important as a citizen. It is much more important as a social worker to understand that constitution, where it infringes on the right of people to freedom, to social justice, to economic empowerment, to eradicating poverty, and so on and so forth. You need to challenge. You need to put on certain strategy to ensure that those are corrected. If you have not read Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you may not know where our problem lies. You may not know which section of the Constitution actually deals with social issues or social welfare. Let's put it that way. So you need to go and read chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. Chapter 2 talks about directive principles of state policies. Directive principle of state policies. And in that, we have so many sections. And there is a section that talks about social welfare, that the main essence of government is to provide security and welfare for its citizens. But unfortunately, that particular section or that particular chapter of the Constitution is not justiciable. How do I mean? You cannot challenge it in court. You cannot take government to court to say, government, you are not providing education for our children, for our citizens. You cannot do it. You can't do it. As it is the only chapter that is not justiciable in the Constitution. Go and find out. Go and read. You read section, what's the section again? Don't let me quote out of context, but go to chapter 2. You will see where the Constitution talks about the social welfare. And when we talk about the social welfare, who are those people in charge of social welfare? Are they not social workers? So in policy practice, in engage in policy practice means that you need to understand how policies affect your clients and communities. Like I said, the policy, how does it affect you? How does it affect your service user? How does it affect the community at large in the policy that has been formulated? I think the latest policy that is comprehensive on social protection is that National Social Protection Policy. National Social Protection Policy. Please write it down. Go and find it out. I think the first one was in 2017. By now, every 5 years, it's supposed to be reviewed. I wouldn't know whether they review it in 2022, but I read that they were in the process of reviewing that policy. For every policy, there is a timeline. Every policy has its lifespan. The last span may be 3 years, maybe 5 years, where it can be renewed. When it can be reviewed. Why the review? The review means that the review is possible because after 5 years duration, or 3-year duration, or 5-year duration, there might be some adjustments. Dynamics must have changed. Like we are talking about challenging unjust policy. If you have noticed in the implementation of an existing policy, some discrepancies or some loopholes, or you have some gaps in the implementation of the existing policy, that one calls for review. Those areas you try to mark it and ensure that you make your contribution. While new policy is in the process of being made or being formulated. Apart from that, the major thing that you also know in this policy practice is for you to participate in policy formulation and advocacy. That this is a good assignment for you, meaning that you have to allow your ears to hear things that relate to policy formulation. Whenever you hear that there is going to be a review of a policy, any policy that you know has relation to social protection or social welfare or the social relationship or anything social issues, ensure that you participate in that policy process. Nobody will disturb you. Although there are executive process, there are processes where the public servant are involved. There are stages where people, NGOs, CSOs, and other stakeholders are also involved, and the members of the public. Ensure that you keep in touch and participate as well whenever you hear such. I once participated in the formulation of National Youth Policy in 2006. In that policy, I was a participant while they were trying to review an existing policy. And I made my own contribution then. But ever since, whether that has been reviewed or not, I learned that it was reviewed after 4 or 5 years. But the one that was reviewed, whether it was used or not. But the trend is that when they make policy like that, the public officers see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to attend workshops, opportunity to enrich themselves, opportunity to spend the funds in their budget. So that is their main concern. The impact is not paramount in their mind. If the impact is paramount in the public officer's mind, otherwise, we will have been using those policy meticulously. You know, when a policy is formulated, it's not just a document. When we have that document, they also go ahead to organize workshops to design implementation framework. The implementation framework will now spell it. How many targets? How do we achieve this? Who will do what? Who is responsible? What is the funding? Who will fund it? All this will be in the framework. But when they are there, they are just there on the paper. I remember in 2009 or 2008, after the policy, the Federal Ministry of Youth developed a very voluminous implementation strategies, about 2 volumes, for us to implement what is in the policy. Ask the Federal Ministry of Youth whether those ones are not in the dustbin. Ask them. They are in the dustbin. Nobody is implementing anything. That was when Senator Olatunkanmi Akinlabi was the Minister of Youth. I remember vividly. So many policies. After that, our other policy, women policy, the gender, personal gender policy, where are they? The social policy, the development policy, health development policy. So many policies. But where are they? But ensure that when you hear them, they want to do it, please participate. Participate. When you participate, you convent your own idea, your own feel, and you can also make your own little contribution that you can make. So it will be in record that you also participated, and any unjust aspect of that policy you can challenge at that level. So when a participant asked me last week that how best can we act when we cannot protest. That is a very subtle way for you to contribute meaningfully, and your contribution will be meaningful on the round table, not on the streets. I'm not saying you should be complacent, but your contribution will be meaningful on the round table, not on the street, not when you hold placard, because all you say, they are just political. So they will just read meaning into it that you are being sponsored by the opposition. Oh, no wonder. We saw your comment on the Facebook the other time. You are not in support of this government. That is why you are leading some group of people to protest against our government. That is how the politician will look at it. And when you do that, you have stained the image of your profession. Because first of all, they see you as a social worker, that you are an advocate of social justice. You have been going to their offices. You have been moving from one commissioner to the other. That Mr. Commissioner, you need to do this in this place, in this area, in this my field. You need this community need your support. This group of people need your support. These people with disability need your support. You have been doing that advocacy, but suddenly they find you are on the streets with demonstrators. So what have you done? You have destroyed the whole thing. Your advocacy has become zero. No matter how impactful your idea may be, they will never take it, because they will see you as somebody anti their own policy or anti their own government. Not even the policy. That puts personal prejudices into that. Quickly, let me go to the other one, because they are 9, and I want us to finish it before the class. I want us to finish it and rush over it. Number 6 is engaging with individuals, family groups, organizations, and communities. I think I explained that when we started. You start with the individual, you go to the family, you go to the group, you go to the organizations if they exist, and communities at large. You try to build trust. How I wish I can finish this. And I have so many things to say about building rapport. You build trust and rapport when we are talking about engaging with individuals. We are engaging each other now, between you and me. On your own side, you are the participant in this workshop. I'm just your facilitator. You can understand that. So if that trust is not there, that this man, when he comes today, he will just be saying things out of context. I don't need to go to his class. I don't need to waste my time. Maybe little by little, that trust is not there. That man may not even give us what we expect. You see, your participation will be, your participation level or your participation rate will be dropping. And if there are no way for us to develop a rapport, what is building a rapport? What does it mean? In social work practice, it's just for you to ensure that a social worker just have what do we call it? Have that ability, have the ability to ensure that you have the values, you value the integrity of your clients, and you also you have the empathy for your clients to understand you better. That is when you talk about rapport. That is, you're trying to have a very good relationship that will ensure that your clients will see himself or herself as being valued. And your client will also see in you integrity. Your client will build within him or her that trust in you. So when you can establish that rapport, you see, you have done your job halfway. But when the rapport is not there, the communication is completely broken down. And in social work, like I said, it just refers to the process of establishing a trusting, respectful, and empathetic relationship. Especially it undermines the communication that we do. Do you have a course in effective communication in this program? Do you have it? I think that maybe it's in the other class, maybe it's in the postgraduate class. In effective communication, you can only communicate effectively when your audience, your receiver, has that trust in you. Look at the politicians. If a politician mounts a podium and they have gathered people to listen to politician manifesto or his campaign or whatever, and by the time the politician comes with another, maybe with a friend that is not trusted, and it is that friend, maybe the chairman of the party or the leader of the party, is the one to address the gathering, and people don't have trust in that person, what do you think will happen to his communication with the people? The communication will not be there. They will just say, Oga, make una continue. We dey hear. They will be telling themselves, that man a liar. He told us last time, this is what we will do, this is what we do, and that will be the end of his maybe the end of his political career, maybe the end of the campaign. Because people must have lost trust in him. Because it's no more trust. He is not trusted. He's not trustworthy. That person has no integrity, cannot stand on his promise. So when you try to establish a trusting, respectful, and empathetic relationship between you as a social worker and your client, when that relationship is there, please mark those three words: trust, respect, and empathy. When the relationship has those three elements, then we can say that you have a good rapport with your client or your service user. And it is a foundational skill that every social worker must possess, because it will allow your clients to feel safe. When he or she trusts you, you will feel safe. Am I safe in the hand of this person? It is when you trust that person. If I say, we are going to Abuja together for a program, for you to follow me or to join me to be my companion to Abuja for a social work program, you must have had a certain level of trust in me before you can just follow me like that. There must be a respect between the two of us. What do we call respect? Regard. I regard you as a person, as an individual, as a human being, just like me. That is what we call respect. When you give regard to people and you see them the way they are, that's the work of a social worker. You see that your client the way he or she is. You don't see him as somebody else. Don't say, why are you not like A? Why are you not like you are Saul or you are Samuel? Why are you not like Solomon? No. There are two things. They are two different people. They are two different human beings. They have their individual character, uniqueness, and their characteristics are very different. So your client must feel safe and he must understand, because when you have a good rapport, it allows your client to feel safe, to feel to be understood. I mean, to be understood and to also be valued. Three things again. Your client will be safe. You will understand him very well. When your clients see you as somebody that understands him, people will say, that person is my friend. Why is he your friend? You tell them, no, because he's the only person that understands me. Why? Because there is a rapport, a good rapport between the two of you. Then you can also go further and say, because that person follow me. Some people will say, as woman, it is when we don't have, when we lose things, that is when we value it. When we lose things, that is when we value it. But when you have that thing with you, you don't value it. But as a professional social worker, you need to follow your clients. You need to follow your clients. When your clients see you, or when your service users sees you as somebody that value him or her, my brothers and sisters, you will be successful in any communication. You'll be successful in any intervention you are giving out to that person. That is about individuals, family, groups, and organizations, as well as the community. Sorry, we going to number 7, right? Sorry, I've just discussed number 6.
Yes, number 7.
Yes, we go to number 7 quickly. I want to go to number 7, even though it's past 5. But let me quickly finish. So I've talked about building trust and rapport. Then number 2 under that is establishing effective professional relationship, which I've explained elaborately. Number 7 is assessing individuals. The same thing, assessing individuals, family, groups, organizations, and communities. Just assess. When you engage them, during the time you are engaging them, you need to assess as well. How do you assess? You want to gather some information about them. That is when you are assessing. You interpret information to identify their strength and needs. Your client's strength and needs. I talked about strength the other time. That you should emphasize strength of your client. Don't look about his or her negative, his or her weaknesses. Emphasize on, just get the weaknesses for your information, but don't emphasize it. But emphasize strength. So when you gather information, when you gather and interpret information, you begin to identify client strengths and needs. It is when you assess that you can do that. You look at somebody, he talks to you, he or she talks to you, explains some things, you are engaging. But when you assess on all he has given you, you have gotten some information, you note them down. Those information you get, you must have seen. Maybe it's a dispute between two people or between a couple. And by the time the wife is giving you the explanation of what actually happened, what led to the crisis or what led to the dispute, you will get to know some facts about the ability of that particular woman. You get to know the strength of that woman. Maybe by the time she was doing that, maybe she breaks down in tears. You will get to know that maybe, okay, this woman is so emotional. If she lost the man, from information she has given you, you will get to know some of these things. You can interpret, you can gather information only and you interpret, just to identify his or her strength. If it is her weakness, you get it. Then you can use assessment tools appropriately. There are different assessment tools that you can make use of. You can make use of interviews, semi-structured questionnaire, and so on and so forth. You can have a checklist. You can have any other tool you feel is important. Like if you are getting information, maybe you are talking about fistula client that has come to you for this, for that, you can give her assessment tool, or what do we call it? This tool that will enable you get information. that we're able to get information from them for you to keep as a social worker. I've forgotten the two I wanted to mention, but when I remember, I will let you know. Then again, number 8.
Key informant interview. Sir,
can
we use key informant interview?
Why not? You can use it just for you to get information.
Yeah.
For you to get information to assess that particular individual. If I want to assess you on the income you earn, I will just give you some questionnaire to say that for how long have you been in service? For how long have you been in this employment? What was your initial payment when you started this job? After 10 years, what was your income? After 20 years, what was your income? Now, what is your income? With that, I would definitely know your economic strength. Using your income as a determinant. It's quite possible. It's quite possible for me to know that, okay, this woman is on level 12, so that is why her lifestyle is like this. I can just have that within me. That will let me know your strengths. Let me know your weaknesses. That will let me know your needs. And perhaps this woman will need a better job that will enable her take care of her family very well. Maybe family of 3, or family of 2, or family of 4. How best? If she can work in Chevron, she will be getting this. With that, I will have known this is your strength. And I have another client whose salary is better than that. That will give me the opportunity to know you better. I'm just assessing. The assessment is not thorough, but I'm just assessing on the information you have just given me. Then you can intervene with individuals. What do we mean by intervening? You are implementing intervention strategies. We have talked about intervention. Let's take the case of FGM victim. A girl that has been caught, and that girl needs your assistance. Maybe after being caught, and there is a law, VAB law. Are you aware of VAB law? Have you heard about VAB Act? Let me start from there. VAB Act at the national level. That act is enacted by
against person.
Yes, violence against persons.
Provision, Violence Against Person Provision Act. At the state level, and about 32 or 33 states have actually domesticated that particular act, and it has become law in the respective states. So if a girl that has been caught comes to you to complain that he has been caught, but she discovered that in the act, her right has been violated, how does she pursue that her dignity is restored back? You need to guide her. What strategy will you adopt to ensure that that particular girl is given the right justice? You design your own strategies. It is when you design those strategies, you now state how best you can implement the strategy. For instance, for you to get the information, you know that number one, the strength of that lady, that particular girl, she has no financial resources to even hire a lawyer. You have understood that by the time you engage her. She's not married, perhaps she has no living parents, maybe the guidance or those or the uncle or whatever, they actually meted that particular violence against her. You have established that through your engagement. You want to intervene now, you now link her up with free legal services, maybe through the Ministry of Women Affairs or Social Welfare, or through a desk in the judiciary that is handling that, or through a desk in the law enforcement agency, any law enforcement agency office. Perhaps it may be police, it may be civil defense. You can establish, you can find out. So if it is civil defense that is better, that will be quicker, you now link her up. You establish that implementation strategy. Okay, when you live here, let us link up with social welfare so that you not pay anything. Social welfare will link us with those agencies that can provide free services. You just have that implementation strategy, then you get to court. And those people that perpetrated the act will be arrested and will be treated, or will be arrested and will be taken to court to face the music of that particular law which has been passed. And when you do that, it means that those people have actually violated some sections of that law, and that has become a criminal offense, and that can be pursued. You know, that is an intervention. That is an intervention leading to solving the problem of that service user or the client. When you have that implementation, when you implement the intervention you have, the client will be better off, and our problem must have been removed. Then quickly, collaborating with clients and other professionals. Like I said, you have seen your client, you link her with what? With the social welfare officer in the Ministry of Social Welfare, or whatever name it is called, or with the court. The professionals there, meaning that you cannot do it alone, you need to collaborate. It is at this point that you look for collaborators. You look for collaborator that will assist you achieve your objective, not conspire with them so that the right of that girl will be further violated. You don't allow that to happen. So what you do is you ensure that you look out for other professionals. You know, in social work, you don't do things alone. You are not an island of knowledge. It is where you stop, some other people will begin. So you make referral so many times. You make referral because you are not jack of all trade. You are especially an expert in a particular area. If you know you are stepping into another arena that is quite unfamiliar to you, you will involve those that have the requisite knowledge to handle. Then number 9, and is evaluating practice with individual. We talk about engage, assess, and intervene. Then we also talk about evaluating. You know, of course, you also know evaluation is broader than assessment. When you come to evaluation, you bring in everything into focus, and you want to measure the outcomes. You want to know the output. Do you know the output? You want to know whether the input has effect on the output, whether the output has effect on the outcomes, whether there is a relationship between the outcome and the impact. You know, those 4 levels. When you evaluate, you try to measure achievement on at those levels. You want to adjust practice based on evaluation findings. You have implemented you want to know whether that intervention has worked or it has not worked. So what do? You need to evaluate. When you evaluate, your findings in the evaluation, you know, you have formative evaluation, we have summative evaluation. At every stage, that is formative. The sum total, that is summative. That is all together. You put everything, that means from beginning of the intervention to the end of the intervention. Maybe the beginning of the program and when you end the program, when you terminate the program. That one, overall assessment. That is the summative evaluation. If it is formative, it's every stage of the step you take where you are intervening with individual, with family, groups, or communities. So when you evaluate that, you have formative. Whatever findings, you know, you do formative. Formative is like assessment. When you do that, it enables you to adjust immediately before the end of the program. Any gaps you have noticed, you want to review it. You review your steps, you review all the activities, resources you are putting. Can I go this way? Can I still maintain my strategy plan? Or do I change the plan? Do I redesign so that I will not go the same way? Because when you measure the first step you have taken, you have noticed some loopholes, some gaps have been identified. So you need to rectify. That is why committee is very, very good. When you adjust that, you move to the next stage. But if it is just summative, it is at the end of the program, you may not be able to adjust the fail, you may not be able to right the wrong. at that point in time. Lastly, the one I will add, if you look at your program, if you look at what do we call it? If you look at your material, we just on number 9, but I just want to add this for as an addition to what you have to also make your listening fuller. Use of critical thinking and reflective practice. You apply logic and reasoning in decision making. All we have been saying, everything you want to do must be logical. It must be logical. It must be in sequence. That anybody seeing it, they will see that you are a professional. If you are writing a report, for instance, as a professional social worker, how does a professional social worker write a report? What's the reporting format for social worker? You need to follow that format. We're talking about research the other time. Research has a format. And if you fail to follow that format prescribed, which means you have missed it. It's like you are writing an exam and they write answer 3 questions out of 5. Number 1 is compulsory. If you leave number 1 and you don't do, you have missed out. You must have missed substantively from that number 1 that you refuse or you fail to attempt. So, meaning that in social work, there is a logic. There is a logical way of doing things. So you need to apply that logic and reasoning. Logical reasoning that we do in philosophy and some other things. Please apply it here. In decision making, your decision, whatever you do must be logical. Must be logical. If you are moving from number 1, your number 1 must lead to number 2. Number 2 must lead to number 3. Number 3 leading to number 4 up to 100. But it shouldn't be number 1, you jump to number 5. That one is not logical any longer. And from number 5, it is number 7. From number 7, it is number 21. You see, that one is not logical. So even a primary school student will ask you, Daddy, Mommy, why is it like that? It's 1, 2 supposed to follow 1 now. Why is your own where is your own 5 following number 1? Explain, Daddy. Explain, Mommy. I know these children, they are very sad nowadays. They will ask you that question, which means it's not logical. When you put things in logical, you move from known to unknown. You move from known to unknown, from finite to infinite. When you move like that, people will understand. That is why, look at the education system. 6 years of primary school. When you leave primary school, you go to secondary school. You don't move from primary school and go to university straight. So again, you reflect on personal biases and improving practice. Everybody has his or her own biases. No doubt about that. We are human and we are not perfect. We have our own biases. Those biases, you reflect on them. That is personal evaluation. You reflect on your own biases. What are my own strengths? What are my own weaknesses? What are my own biases? There are people that have bias against religion or other people as an individual. When you look at it, if you are the one, reflect about it. Am I doing the right thing? Is it right for me as a social worker? Is it right for me as a professional to have bias against my colleague at work? To have bias against my client? No. Like I said the other time, last time when we had the class, religion has no face here. Age, status, all these things. And you shouldn't be emotional. You'll be surprised that even professors, they have issues in their matrimonial home. Lawyers that are supposed to advocate for those that have been unjustly treated, they have issues among themselves. Even judges that will sit and order in courts and give judgments. And if a judge sits on his or her seat and says, that person that I'm looking at that wears black clothes, that person should be jailed. That day they will jail that person. They are human beings too. They also have their own problems at all. They also have their own biases. So as a professional, have critical thinking and reflect on your own biases. Critical thinking means that you have to be logical and reasonable in whatever you do. Reflective practice entails that you reflect on your personal biases and improve your practice. When you reflect, you improve on that practice. You cannot just reflect for reflecting sake. For reflection sake, people will say when in the court, they will say, this case you have brought to the court is just an academic exercise, meaning that it has no impact, it has no effect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to believe that we've been able to move a bit higher this afternoon. I want to apologize for taking your time up to this moment, up to this time. This is almost 5:30. So if you have contribution, you have questions, you can ask in less than 5 minutes so that we can adjourn for another.
Please, sir, I want to know the topic, today's topic, sir, please.
Were you late in the class? Competencies. The core competencies, you are late.
I wasn't hearing at the beginning. I couldn't hear anything. I was totally lost.
Okay, because we asked you to give us this or what we did last week. Anyhow, we have touched core competencies. All the core competencies we have in social work practice, service delivery. For quality service delivery, that is what we consider today.
Okay, sir.
Any other question?
Please, sir, what did you say that number 8 is? Because I didn't get it. After assessing individuals, family, number 7, assessing individuals, families, and communities. Number 8 is what, sir, please?
Intervene with individuals.
Okay, sir.
Families, groups, organizations, and communities.
It's okay, sir.
Only the word intervene change. The other one is engage. The next one is intervene. The next one, which is number 9, is evaluate.
Evaluate, yes. Evaluate.
So, engage yes.
Somebody should please post the points on the group, I beg. The WhatsApp group, please. The points that not you, sir.
It's inside our material that Oga submitted, gave us first time.
It's inside the material. Okay.
Yes, it's inside that book, about 74 pages or so.
Yes.
And I reposted it this morning as well.
Yes.
I reposted the text.
You have not been reading. You have not been reading, Angela.
So I plan to start reading this week. I've been busy, but I plan to start.
Okay. No wala. Yes. Any other comments?
My own comment is not a question. I just want to add to what you have been saying and appreciate your effort for the past 2.5 hours ago. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Amen.
This idea of female especially being molested by any citizen like male, I think the NGO in Nigeria, especially mostly that have witnessed the international one, like Ward C at Ikeja, very close to Computer Village, they are trying their best. They are from Ghana, but they base in Nigeria, Lagos and Abuja specifically. They are trying, if there is any girl, because in that their office, they have a legal practitioner in form of lawyer, that they take most of these cases to court according to the policy that they have violated the so-called something that belongs to the girl child. Okay. So to the extent, when I did my internship with them, and I'm still with them because I've collaborated with them, I love their programs. Okay. To the extent that if there is any female being molested, either in university or in a community, you report to them immediately. They take their boss there, they carry the child, they take the matter, the lawyer of the company take the matter to the court. From there, they started the matter, but meanwhile, that girl child will be properly protected in terms of financial, by asking them to be coming to their office, free food, and place them on salary. Then, if it is in university that thing happened, they withdraw the child and collect all the transcripts belonging to the girl and look for another university and let that girl enter JAMB exam for test purpose and relocate and they pay the school fees to the end and they monitor it. And all the social worker, as I am a social worker, I follow it up too as well. So
that's great.
we should not keep silent. This forum is God that made it and gave us all these good, intelligent lecturers, professors. We should listen attentively and take some things home and try to attend the lecture. Things are going in Nigeria. There are policies, and if anybody violates it, there are a way you can fight your rights and without involving police or calling army or any other uniformed person. Thank you, sir. God
Thank you.
bless. And bless
Thank
all
you
of
so
us.
much. Yes, without any hindrance, without giving yourself, without self-help, you can fight for your right. That was the madam is saying. Without self-help, you can fight for your right. You know, many of us, we don't actually have that time to fight, to claim our right, to fight for our. You know, one single person protected all the car users in this country from paying for another plate number, or paying for another number plate with the Federal Road Safety Commission. You remember some years ago, the Road Safety Commission came out with another design for number plates. And they gave us ultimatum: if you don't change your number plate, you're going to pay this, you're going to pay that, and then your car will be impounded. And one single person just went to the court. That is the same road safety that actually produced the first number plate. Why are they changing it? Why are they changing the design? If they want to change the design, there's no problem. Let them change the design with no cost to the users. Already, many people have actually rushed to the Road Safety Commission to obtain this new number plate. But when the man got to the court restrained the road safety. That is why up to today, nobody is talking. The road safety cannot talk about that because they couldn't appeal that judgment. But it is only it's one single individual that saved me. Just look at all of us. Professors are there. They have rushed to their office to obtain this. They will not challenge. Everybody will say, it's not my business. I don't have that time. Let us have the time. Oh. When we have the time, who knows whether you are the savior of so many people. Thank you. Akoma.
Yes,
I can see your hand.
mine is, yes, sir. Yeah, mine is about the female genital mutilation. You know, you said something about you asked how many were Catholics and whether it was the Catholic doctrine and teaching of the Catholic Church and all of that. So what I try to understand from the literature you were making reference to, maybe it was the sample, the population that was used for the study. Maybe the person, I don't know. I haven't read the literature myself. But what I was refuting was that it's not a teaching of the Catholic Church, you know.
Great.
So that's the aspect I'm not doubting that maybe Catholics were used for the study or whatever, but that doesn't make it a teaching of the Catholic Church. That's my own stand. Yeah, it could be that maybe the study was carried among Catholics, but that doesn't mean that the church asked them to do that.
Okay, I understand that quite well. It's not the doctrine of the church. Simple. Thank you.
It's not.
Ngozi.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Ngozi, your turn. I can see your hand. Yeah. Ngozi, please, your hand. Or is it an hood hand? Okay. If Ngozi refuses, any other person, if there is no question again, no comment, but Ngozi's hand is up, so I wouldn't know. Well, this is about 5:32. We need to end this class now, and I want to thank every one of you for your patience and for bearing with me as well with the little. I can facilitate, or I could facilitate this afternoon. But on the assignment, please go and do something about it. Maybe by next Sunday, I will ask everyone to present what you've been able to do on that assignment. As you said, I should leave it as that, so that we make it interactive. And we're going to discuss further about rapport building next week, if you have the time. But on rapport, and we may also like what we discussed today to Nigeria context, giving example, although I've given those examples as I explained. But on rapport building, we may have to discuss a little bit of what we have as key elements in rapport building, and which I think is going to be of benefit to you. So once again, I want to thank you for your time. So until next week, when we have the opportunity of meeting again, remain blessed, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
God
Thank
Well
you,
bless
sir.
done, sir.
Thank you so much too as well.
We appreciate you for good job done by you.
Okay, thank you too as well. I appreciate you all
God
too.
bless you, sir. Wish you a great week ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.